In Paris tonight to discuss ways of limiting arms sales, especially to the Middle East. The five, Britain, France, the United States, China and the Soviet Union, provide an estimated 85% of the region's weapons. But now there's concern that if the big five reduce their sales, other countries may rush in to fill the gap. Mike Smart reports on the new arms sale dilemma.
In the immediate aftermath of the Gulf War, in which the vast majority of weapons used on all sides were supplied by the five nations meeting today in Paris, politicians have been falling over themselves to promote arms control. Today's Paris meeting follows French calls for a global plan to restrict weapons sales. John Major will amplify his proposals for a register of arms deals next week. And President Bush has already laid out his ideas for stemming the proliferation of arms in the Middle East, admitting that it will be difficult.
It won't be easy, but the path to peace never is.
And within days of that speech, business was brisk at the Paris International Air Show. Arms exporters who lost customers at the end of the Cold War hustling hard for new ones. The Soviets, so long chief arms suppliers to Israel's Arab enemies, suddenly offered to sell Israel the Soviet version of the Patriot missile. America, whilst preaching restraint, showed off its Gulf successes and is busy upgrading the arsenals of several of its Middle East allies. Post-war enthusiasm for arms control has often quickly receded in the past, though some see encouraging signs in this week's Paris talks.
The fact that the Chinese, as I understand, have agreed to attend, this is a major step forward because, after all, in the Iran-Iraq war, China supplied both Iran and Iraq at will with anything they wanted.
Absent from Paris, though, are the bit players like communist North Korea, who could become important suppliers of the type of conventional weapons much sought after in the Middle East. Turkey, too, on the doorstep for Middle East customers, have invested heavily in gearing up for arms production. There are fears that any arms control agreement by the major suppliers will merely push up the price of weapons, which can be obtained from alternative sources.
In economic terms, just by making it more difficult for the suppliers to provide will only increase prices and bring more hardship economically to the region.
Others share doubts that meaningful arms control can be achieved, especially in the continuingly volatile Middle East. Nevertheless, several of the major arms-supplying nations will take another opportunity to underline their commitment to it at the end of next week's G7 Economic Summit in London.